Hi guys, welcome to Reality Check. I'm Seb, filling in for Cam, as following last week's episode, he's decided to go and colonise Mars.
No, he's just gone to Iceland for a few days.
And until he returns to our lovely home planet, I, the mighty Seb Ford, will be giving you your weekly science dose. Open wide, here comes the space boat. Choo-choo! Life is full of questions. Will the amazing Spider-Man 2 video game be any good? Who knows? Did I only bring this spoon in here for that one gag? Yes, I did. But back to Spider-Man. One thing we can be sure of is that it's going to involve a whole load of web-slinging, wisecracking, and just general feats of superhuman strength. He does have the proportional strength of a spider after all. In fact, loads of characters in games display above human levels of strength all the time, not just superheroes. But rather than comparing loads of individual game characters, I thought it would be better to look at the limits of our own personal human strength and ask, do we all in fact have the ability to exhibit superhuman strength? In general, all our super strong gaming characters have to be just that, super strong, all the time. Now, you and I have a fairly good idea of how strong we are. Lift a PC? No problem. Oh, that's a problem. Lift a car? Perhaps not. Of course, we could just hit the gym, but could we be stronger at a moment's notice? There are countless stories about real people who, in times of intense stress or crisis, are able to perform apparently superhuman feats, lifting far beyond what they should be able to, perhaps in order to save a loved one, a stranger, or a Scottish work colleague. But is it actually possible to lift extra weight in a time of stress? Well, fortunately, the science of how much we can lift has been studied. You see, every individual human being has a theoretical maximum that they can possibly lift, their so-called absolute strength. At some point, no matter what the strenuous action you're trying to do, if you were to continually increase the weight, you would eventually get to a point where your skeletal structure can no longer handle it. No matter how much you want to lift it and how much mental strength you have, tissues would fail, bones would break, and you would cause yourself serious damage. On the other hand, your maximal strength is the limit you can achieve with conscious effort under normal conditions. Or to gamers, the limit before your Skyrim character is over-encumbered and can't run. Now, for the average person, maximal strength is about 2/3 of absolute strength. So if I'm trying my hardest, I can probably lift around 130 kilograms. But the theoretical max that my pesky human frame can handle could be as much as 195 kilos. That extra 33% might not sound like much, but it could make all the difference between lifting or dropping that life-threatening object. Okay, but how do we access that extra third of strength, and why does being put in a stressful situation help us achieve it? Well, you may have heard of the fight or flight response. During a stressful situation, the body enters that state, also known as the acute stress response. The key here is the activation of what's called the sympathetic nervous system. So wait, what's that? Well, the autonomic nervous system, which basically controls all involuntary body function, the things you don't have to think about like digestion and heartbeat, is split up into two parts, the sympathetic and parasympathetic. The latter controls so-called vegetative functions, whereas the sympathetic is all about function under stress and staying alive. So when a potentially dangerous or stressful situation hits us, this side takes over, releasing adrenaline or epinephrine, which has a variety of effects on our bodies. Airways become relaxed for better oxygen absorption, heart rate is accelerated, tunnel vision occurs for more precise focus, digestion slows down, muscles become primed for action, and the painkiller dopamine is released by the brain. A whole host of things which get your body primed and ready to do whatever it needs to stay alive. And it's in this state that we're most likely to be able to exhibit extra strength. Now, it may not be giving us car-flipping levels of ultra muscle, but it is interesting to think that in our own way, we can all become a form of superhero, if only 33% stronger than we were before. Now, how can we trick our minds into achieving that state? Well, there is always the possibility of highly dangerous and super illegal drugs. How about phenyl cyclohexyl piperidine, or PCP? Now, this chemical doesn't actually make you any stronger, but it does have the ability to make you think you are. It does this by distorting your perception of sight and sound and producing feelings of detachment from the environment and self, as well as a numbing of the extremities. This combines to give the user the illusion of power. As a result, those who take the drug invariably cause themselves serious injury while trying to do stupid things. So for strength, it's really not worth the risk. For now, we're just going to have to accept the fact that we can't swing a 200-pound Buster Sword casually over our heads, and we can't hurl motor vehicles at our real-life enemies. Certainly not at least without mechanical assistance. But what do you make of this idea of super strength? And have you ever been in an incredibly stressful situation that's allowed you to become stronger than you thought possible? Do let me know in the comments underneath. Last week on Reality Check, Cam was discussing the possibility of humans colonizing Mars within our lifetime. However, it looked like the Mars One project was the only possibility, and even then, it would be a one-way trip. YouTuber Thunder Monkey Chops, great name, came back with this dose of info. There is another company, SpaceX. I've heard that in the future, they'll be able to bring people to Mars for $500,000, sort of like a tourist attraction. So we're not too far off from that sort of thing. You're absolutely right, SpaceX is pushing to reach Mars, including getting our first probe to land, take samples, and finally return back to Earth. You can even buy one of their rockets for as little as $57 million. It's actually 56.5 million, but I will be needing my 500 grand commission to get me to Mars. Thanks for watching this episode of Reality Check. Don't worry, Cam will be back next week to fill these scientifically accurate boots. I was thinking they felt a little tight. In the meantime, I will be seeing you around. Oh, that's a problem.
How bad is it?
Oh my god!
Oops.
Oh, it's I really dented the floor. Feel...
Oh. Shit.
Oh, it's really bad.
Ooh. Well, that's gonna hurt.
That's gonna stain. It couldn't have landed more on the corner if I tried.